The energy shifted dramatically when I tuned into late 2025 for Mexico and Egypt. I was honestly not expecting to see this. You need to hear the urgent messages the celestial beings brought through for the crucial year ahead in 2026. This isn't just a standard forecast, this is a warning. I sat down intending to do just a general forecast, but the guys kept pulling me back to two specific locations, that is Mexico and Egypt. I'm seeing a timeline that starts in December 2025 all the way through the end of 2026. These are political shift, earth energy shift, and specific events that seems to link these two ancient power centers together. If you are new here, welcome to the Extreme Wise Predictions channel. My name is David, the Psychic General. Here we go beyond the surface to uncover the truth using high-level clairvoyancy. If you have family in these regions, or if you just feel spiritually pulled to these lands, you need to watch this video all the way to the end. Take a deep breath with me and hit the like button and lock in your protection and clarity. And let's go straight into the messages for Mexico and Egypt. So first of all, I'm seeing a mysterious fire in a historical location, and the name that is coming up in terms of that is like a museum of an ancient tower. I'm seeing like a museum of an ancient tower. I don't know if Mexico has something like that. This thing that I'm seeing is in Mexico. I don't know if Mexico has anything like that. I'm seeing that this is located in either the central or the southern part of Mexico. It is like a central stone tower. That is what I'm seeing. And the ancient thing looks like a wooden interior staircase. I'm seeing something like that. And I'm seeing key initials of the city is like an O, a P, and I'm seeing a C as well. So O, P, and C. I don't know how, if they have something like that. I've never been to Mexico before. That is what I'm looking at. I'm also seeing that there's going to be a cultural thing around that same thing of this historical site. This will actually suffer like a fire incident. There's going to be like a major fire incident that is going to spark global concerns. I'm seeing this happening within, let's say, August and November of 2026. I think this will happen, or this is going to be occurring a late evening around, I'm seeing something like 9:40 p.m. And in between 9:40 p.m. and 11:20 p.m. There about August to November 2026. That's what I'm seeing for that thing. I'm also seeing something in Egypt. I'm seeing something like an ancient care story goes viral in Egypt. And this is going to be happening in a major like a museum event. I'm seeing something like a museum event. This is from an artifact exhibition that triggers suspicious fear and global attention. That is what I'm saying. And it felt like I'm standing there and I'm hearing them, kind of talk. And the story felt like a secrets of the forbidden or forgotten king or something like that, or the forbidden chamber connections or collections, something in that. That is what I felt like they were talking about in that, and this is going to be happening. I'm also seeing like there's going to be a discovery of an ancient artifact in Mexico. I'm seeing that an ancient artifact in Mexico is going to be discovered, and I'm feeling that I'm hearing the name like the Valley of the Gardeners. I don't know if they have something like that. I'm hearing the Valley of the Gardeners, and I'm seeing this in a way that is kind of located in the southeastern part of Mexico. That is what I'm seeing, and the initials of the nearby cities or the modern city starts with a T. I'm seeing a C as well, and I'm seeing an M as well in this kind of a place. And this is kind of close to a river. I'm seeing it's close to a river with a cave or like a curved S. I'm seeing a letter X shape in that regards. If somebody lives in Mexico and if they can confirm this, it will be very grateful for me. I'm seeing that this is how it's going to be happening. I see like a small team kind of using like I'm using like a ground penetrating radar, and it's going to be detecting like a hollow chamber beneath like a collapsed monk, something like that. That is what I'm seeing. This is going to like, which is going to initially be believed like a normal tomb, but archaeologists will open the tomb and then they are going to discover something very, very unique. They are going to discover like a series of interconnected tunnels in this discovery that they are going to be having. And there's going to also be discovering that there are chambers that are caved within an unusual advanced something precision in that regards. I'm also seeing like symbols that matches like known recognition, writing system. It is not known, but the archaeologists are going to uncover this massive thing in this regards. That is what I'm seeing, and the writings has nothing to do with any Mexican writings or any writings in American history. Something in that it's going to be an ancient writings. That is what I'm also seeing for that. I'm also seeing like there are going to be a discovery in Egypt as well. It's something like a discovery. It's going to be beneath the sand, like the surface of the sun in Egypt. It's going to be around a desert with too many secrets, so like a desert with too many secrets. I'm seeing it as if it is in the western part of Egypt. That's what I'm seeing. And this place is known for like an archaeological zone. That is what it's known for. Anyone in Egypt who can confirm this for me, I'll be very grateful. And the region previously is dismissed as an empty desert. That is what I'm seeing. My vision show like archaeologists are going to find something underground. That is what I was saying, that archaeologists were looking for something and they found something underground. It's like an underground chamber connected to like a forgotten dynasty or something like that. And this discovery will rewrite history. And it felt like they uncovered like a 30-meter long passageway within this underground thing that I was talking about. That is what I actually saw for this discovery in Egypt. That is what I was seeing. I'm also seeing that there's going to be, I think, a water crisis in one of the major cities in Mexico. That is what I'm actually picking up for Mexico, one of the major cities in Mexico. I think that this is kind of happening in a surprising area. I'm seeing it happening in a surprising area. The energy around this draft actually doesn't feel, it feels unusual. It looks like it feels like it is in the northern desert zones. That is what I'm seeing. Northern desert zones. That is what I'm actually feeling. And I feel like, this city is normally does have access to strong water supply. A city that is not commonly associated with crisis. That is what I'm feeling. And I'm also seeing like the initials of this city is like a G, an M, and a Q. I don't know why M keeps coming. This city has previously maybe experienced water stress before, but it's not going to be anything compared to what is actually going to be happening. And if you live, in cities that start with this kind of letters, prepare for some reserves or something like that. That is what I'm actually seeing for that. I'm going to be focusing on only predictions for Mexico. And right now, I was trying to build my spirit up based on the information that my celestial beings gave me, and I wanted to share that part with you. I'm now zooming into Mexico and see that some of the things that I'm going to be kind of picking up. I'm seeing like a major earth movement around a Pacific coast in Mexico. That is what I'm seeing. I'm feeling that this is going to be like a massive pressure building around. There is a name starting with G. I don't know if it is Guerrero or something like that. I'm seeing that, and I'm also seeing a name starting with an O. It's like OAX and then something like that. Around those coastal lines. That is what I'm seeing. This is not just like a tremor or something. This is going to be like a seismic event strong enough to trigger international headlines. That is what I'm actually seeing for Mexico. I'm also seeing that there's going to be a record heat wave that is going to break records in Mexico in 2026. This heat wave will bring about like a historical record. Specifically, I'm seeing it in the northern side of Mexico. That is what I'm picking up. That there's going to be like this heat wave, and it's going to break records, something they have never seen before happening. I'm also seeing that in Mexico, there's going to be like a dangerous volcano that is going to be rumbling. I see a strong signal around a name starting with a P. I see like a POP something. I can't pronounce the name. I think Mexico, they speak Spanish. I can't pronounce the name. It's like Popocap, something like that. In that, and I see ashes alert, evacuation, travel disruptions around that place. That is what I'm seeing. That is the strong signal I'm feeling for the place in Mexico. I'm also seeing that there's going to be like a sudden political shift in Mexico. And I'm seeing like it's going to be like a shocking division inside one of Mexico's major parties. That is what I'm seeing. And I'm also seeing that this isn't going to be like just a disagreement. It is like a fracture. And I think that a group within that party will break away and form a new order or a new party. That is what I'm seeing for Mexico. That's what I'm seeing. I'm picking something strange. I'm seeing the name as well, but I cannot mention the name. I may be able to, I don't know, but I'm seeing a governor of the northern state of Mexico. I'm seeing that governor resigning under a pressure. It's like one Mexican governor steps down unexpectedly after like a scandal involving misuse of funds. That is what I'm actually seeing. This will be tied to like a misuse of like infrastructural funds, to be specifically, or a leaked email. That is what I'm seeing for the northern part of something, a governor in the northern part of Mexico. That is what I'm actually seeing. I'm also seeing that there's going to be a border policy reversal. No one actually expected. It is like a sudden shift in the US-Mexico border cooperation. This is not about a war. This is not about an opening. It felt like something about an administrative that catches both nations off guard. I'm seeing that, and this is going to be affecting thousands of families. I'm seeing that actually happening in Mexico. That is what I'm actually seeing. These are some of the things that I'm picking. I know that it's like I'm predicting about chaos and stuff like that, but despite the chaos, the economy has a golden era around it in 2026. I know for a fact that, the economy has something around it in 2026. I'm seeing something for Tesla in Mexico. I don't know if they call it Gigafactory. I don't know but I'm seeing Gigafactory. It's like GIGA factory in Mexico. I see them, kind of starting to start vehicle production in 2026. That is what I'm saying. I'm picking up that they are going to be starting vehicle production in 2026. And very surprisingly too, I'm seeing like the owner of Tesla, I don't know what the name is, Elon Musk, will be giving away like free internet connection in Mexico. That is what I just picked it up right now. That's what I'm picking, something like that. But it's not coming in a duty. While I'm speaking about that, I'm also seeing like a Mexican billionaire. This Mexican billionaire will make a surprising move. It's like I'm seeing the initials of the name like MDVA. MDVA. I don't know who is a billionaire like that. I'm seeing this billionaire making a surprise exit or a sale that is worth $10 to $15 billion. That is what I'm actually picking up for this billionaire. I'm also seeing that. I'm also seeing that in Mexico, there's going to be a major airport delay or a redesign in Mexico's energy, something like that, around an airport project or changing a course or something like that. It's about redesigning or something in that regards. It's either about redesigning, about a freeze or a legal battle. That's what I'm seeing. This airport I'm seeing is not like in the deep south. It is either in the central part of Mexico or it is connected to a greater Mexico City region or something like that. That is what I'm seeing. I'm getting something like North, like NB, North Basin, something, North Basin Airport or something like that. And I'm seeing a project that is being named like an initial of NBX, something in that regards. The energy around this airport, is tied to a project that has already been, like there's a controversy around it. And I'm also seeing that there's going to be a discussion around this project. This project has come under maybe pressure or something like that. And I'm seeing three patterns around it. I'm seeing like a delay related to cost overruns, and I'm seeing like a dispute about land use or environmental approval, something in that regards, and also like a legal challenge that is going to come out from a group or the community in that regards. Those are the three things that I'm actually seeing. And I said like the initials that I was seeing, I see an N, I see an F, and I see a D. These things keep showing up in my right now as I'm seeing it. That is what I'm actually picking up. So it could be that the North Basin, airport is going to be extended, or their runway is going to be expanded. Maybe something in that regards. So I need your help with this one. Like I saw a museum, right, of an ancient tower in the central or in the southern Mexico. I think it has a central stone tower or a wooden staircase. I want you guys to put in the name in there for me, if you guys know any of those in Mexico, that anyone that lives in Mexico, if you can put in any of those names for me as well. In Mexico, I'm seeing like a population shift. Exactly what I'm seeing is that I think the population of Mexico is going to be increasing. I see something like 134 million people. It's either going to be a little below, but I see the number 134. It's either going to be a little bit below or a little bit higher. That is what I'm seeing for Mexico by the end of 2026. That is what I'm seeing for Mexico. So let's wait till December 2026 and confirm this. I'm also seeing a company or a firm in Mexico. I see the name as BP Oil and Gas Investment. It is in the Gulf of Mexico businesses. I already know that they have raised I think this year they have already raised like $5 billion already. And I'm seeing that in 2026, they are going to raise another extra $2 billion, and all the total is becoming $7 billion. That is what I'm also seeing for them at the moment. I'm seeing like some type of buses. I'm seeing this like some type of buses is going to be removed from Mexico. I'm not sure the type of buses that they are, but it sounded like they use diesel or so. I'm seeing that by the end of 2026, I'm seeing that this type of buses will be removed. I don't know if they are already being removed or it's going to be removed or something like that. Is what I'm actually seeing in that regards. And then when I told you guys about Elon Musk giving away like free internet services, I was seeing like 9 companies. I'm seeing like 9 companies. That's what is ringing in my ears right now. So I'm redirecting that prediction again. I'm seeing 9 companies. That is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing something dramatic, but I don't want to kind of say, but I don't know. I have to say it. I'm seeing like a drug cartel leader is going to be removed in a quiet operation. My vision shows that like a major, like a cartel leader being captured or taken out, something in that way. That is going to be quietly, secretly, through like a strategical move, with US coordination. That is what I'm seeing for that. I can't go any deeper than what I'm actually giving. I'm also seeing like a surprising economic win, something with manufacturing, like new factories, new foreign money, inflation easing, Mexico becoming like a suddenly like an investment hotspot in 2026. That is what I'm actually seeing for Mexico in 2026. They becoming like an attraction for people to come and invest. I don't know what they are going to be doing, but that is what I'm picking up. I'm also seeing a mysterious illness. Like I'm seeing this mysterious illness in the northern part of Mexico. I'm sensing an outbreak. It is not going to be deadly, but it's a little bit confusing. Uh, this will force like temporal school closures for at least maybe 2 cities. That is what I'm hearing. 2 cities. I was thinking it was 2 weeks, but it was saying 2 locations. So it's 2 cities. That is what I'm actually saying for that. I'm also seeing that there's going to be tension in the energy sector in Mexico. I think an energy project faces public backlash, like a protest or a heated debate or an investigation. That is what I'm seeing. There's going to be, look, 2026 is going to be a lot of uncovering of corruption. So almost every country will have this actually coming to them. Leaders, high leaders is going to have corruptions. So it's not going to be like a prediction for anybody. It's something that is going to be happening in 2026. Like I said, that's what is going to be happening. I'm also seeing that there's going to be a missing plane or a helicopter mystery in Mexico. That is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing like a small aircraft associated with a political figure is going to disappear under like strange circumstances. That is what I'm picking up for Mexico. This political figure, like a plane or a helicopter, something like that, is going to be missing on under like strange circumstances. I'm seeing like a celebrity scandal that shapes the nation, like a famous musician, actor, or a singer. I'm seeing actor or a singer. I don't know if they do both, but I'm seeing actor or singer is going to be caught in a story involving betrayal or hidden relationship. That is what I'm seeing happening in Mexico. I'm also seeing like there's going to be a rise in digital fraud, like a large cyber crime operation is going to be uncovered in Mexico. That is specifically, that is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing it involving banks and hundreds of victims. That is what I'm seeing. Something like that going to be happening in Mexico. Like I said, like corruption, I'm also seeing like a landmark corruption case that is going to be exposed. This is going to be like a long hidden corruption scheme involving like a formal official, will finally come to light. This thing is going to be finally come to light. Like the way I predicted about the China thing that is now coming to light, something like that is going to be happening. And I'm seeing the name of this former person. I think is a former minister or like a secretary, former minister or former secretary. I'm seeing some name like AR something. That is what I'm saying. That is the only thing I'm going to say. This is like a former federal level official who left their position between, I think, I'm saying a year 2017, 2022. That's what I'm saying. This person is connected to a central or a southern state that is also known for like tourism, agriculture, and maybe like rapid infrastructural growth in that regards. That is what I'm actually picking for that. I'm saying that the scandal will break somewhere 2026, May 2026 to somewhere in November 2026. That is what I'm actually seeing this happening. It could be earlier, it could be later. It's very, very hard for, we psychic, to actually predict exact time because, you go into that time, you see what is happening, but you can't pick up the time unless the time is being shown to you. I see a Mexican football a team is going to make history. I think maybe it's not for football team. I think it's not the men's football team. Maybe a national team of a youth or something like that, or a women's team is going to make history. This is like it's going to be like a global or a semi-global tournament somewhere in the summer, somewhere like that. I see that this victory will create national pride. It will be like an unprecedented success, something that is what I'm actually seeing for Mexico. I'm also seeing like a currency thing, something to do with their currency. Their currency comes up like peso or something. I don't know if that's their currency, but I'm seeing a peso. Uh, I see that the currency will react to a sudden economic announcement from the United Federal Reserve. That is what I'm saying. And I'm saying that this could be something in regards to an unexpected rate decision. I don't know if it's a rate cut or something like that, or like emergency liquidation action that is going to be taken by the United States Federal Reserve. I do not know, but I see that this is going to be a sudden statement that is going to be made, maybe on an inflation or maybe a global financial stability warning or something like that. And their currency, that is the peso, is going to be actually reacting to that incident. That is what I'm seeing. And I'm seeing that I think that uh, like investors will rush towards like safe havens. I think they will maybe kind of invest into something else, but I'm seeing that this kind of a thing will actually be recovering. It will drop, their currency will drop sharply, but I see that it will actually begin to actually recover back again. That is what I'm seeing for Mexico in that regards. It's hard for me to, kind of explain these things when I'm doing it live. But forgive me, and then hopefully you can be able to understand some of these things that I'm actually doing. If you don't get something, you can ask in the comment section so that I can be able to, tell you more or give you more information thereabout. And me myself, I have to listen to some of the videos to get some of these things that I'm actually saying in that regards. That's how I get it. I get it done. I'm also seeing like a global, a viral social youth driven movement in Mexico. This is going to spread like nationwide in Mexico. I see it spreading really fast in Mexico. And I'm seeing that this is going to be connected to like equality or labor rights. That is what I'm seeing. That I think that this movement rights name starts with like a G. That is what I'm seeing. I think they call themselves like a fair, something like that. In that regards, that's what I'm actually seeing. I'm seeing that this wave of youth-driven protests will begin around labor rights, economic fairness, and it's going to be especially be like unpaid internship, people who are not paid, low wages for young workers. That is what I'm seeing. I'm also seeing like lack of job security as well. It's like a lot of companies are laying just people off, and they are actually protesting based on the fact that there's lack of job security. I'm also seeing like rising cost of living. I'm also seeing like a former leader returns into the spotlight. I'm seeing it like the initial names or the initials of the name is ASV. That is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing someone like that. It's like someone who disappeared politically comes back with a new influence. That is what I'm seeing for that person. And the name is an ASV, something that initial is ASV. I know nothing about Mexico, so only the initials is what I can call. I'm saying that this person is a high ranking national level political figure, something like that, like a former senator, a former cabinet secretary, something in that regards, or maybe like a former party leader in that regards. I'm seeing things in that regards, like or a former governor of a major state. I do not know which one it could be, but that is what I am seeing for that person. And then the person will be coming back into the limelight. I'm also seeing like I spoke about a helicopter getting missing. I'm seeing like a transportation accident happening in Mexico. I'm seeing like a bus or a train incident. It brings the nation to mourning. That is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing something like a long, maybe a long distance passenger bus or a train traveling through maybe the mountainous areas. I don't can't pick it out, or maybe the rural regions. It's like a long distance something. That is what I'm seeing. Like it's gonna be like a that kind of accident happening. I'm also all this thing happening. I'm also seeing like a tourism boom in Mexico. I don't know why, but in Mexico in 2026, Mexico will hit like a record breaking tourism numbers. That is going to be surpassing expectation and climbing into maybe like top 5 or 7 most visited countries worldwide. That is what I'm seeing for Mexico. They will be entering into the 5 to 7. I'm seeing 5 to 7. That's what I'm saying. This is not going to be like a small rise. It's going to be like a global tourism surge. A lot of people will be wanting to visit Mexico in 2026. That is what I'm seeing, which will make Mexico becomes a top world destination in 2026. I think this will have a record breaking numbers. That is what I am seeing for 2026. I think me myself, maybe I will also be visiting Mexico, but I've not made up my mind yet. I'm seeing that. Whilst I'm talking about tourism, I'm seeing something also funny, like a major cyber attack. You know that if you know, I'm the type of person that I can pick on cyber attacks a lot. I'm seeing like a major cyber attack, like an attempt hackers will target like a Mexican government system. They are going to be targeting the Mexican system, but they are going to be stopped in time. That is what I'm seeing. The system they will target is like a backbone system. If it goes down, multiple departments are going to be affected. That is what I'm saying. This is going to be happening very soon. That is what I see happening. That is going to be happening very soon. I can't mention anything, but I see something in that regards. I'm also seeing that there's going to be an unexpected court decision in Mexico where the dispute is between, I think, something like Valley Community versus Ministry of Lands Development, something in that regards. I think this is a long, complicated legal battle. That is what I'm saying. This conflict is over an ancestral land rights, but this ruling is going to be relating to rights or land. That is what I see. This is going to cause a lot of like a huge debate in Mexico. That is what I'm picking up right now for Mexico in that regards. I'm seeing that there's going to be like a migrant caravan event in Mexico in 2026. I think one caravan event becomes a headline due to like political twist or something in that regards, or a humanitarian twist. Is like a political or humanitarian twist. This will spark emergency humanitarian aid in terms of food, water, medicine, like mobile shelters and stuff in Mexico. That is what I'm actually seeing for Mexico. I'm also seeing in terms of Mexico, like a TV network shakeup. And I'm seeing it as if the TV network it's like the TV network has TVC. I don't know if there's something like TVC happening, something in that regard. I'm seeing something like TVC. It feels like they have a sudden leadership collapse, or maybe a partial collapse in that regards for that network, for that TV network. And I'm hearing something. I'm hearing with respect of like a legal investigation or an internal leaked report. That is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that kind of thing, that maybe there is a legal investigation going on, or maybe an internal leak report that has been leaked. Actually, that is what I'm picking up. I'm also picking up that I don't know if Mexico has a trend of spirituality or something, but I see like a spiritual awakeness trend in Mexico. It's going to be sparking in Mexico. I see that I think that we will see a lot of maybe psychic emerging from Mexico. I see a lot of psychics will be emerging from Mexico, and this will kind of flood all Mexico, and they will turn heavily towards spirituality. A lot of Mexicans will be turning heavily to spirituality, and I see these psychics will be using crystals. They will be using the Taurus, and then they'll be using like an ancestral rituals. This is going to be like a massive cultural wave in Mexico. That is all I'm seeing from Mexico. I want to shift my mind and move into Egypt right now. I want to kind of move into Egypt. I really do not know anything about Egypt, um, but I'm hearing like a warning, like a specific warning of the Southern Central Valley. That is what I'm hearing. Southern Central Valley in Egypt. That is what I'm seeing, like a major flooding event in Egypt. This is going to be happening in the Southern Central Valley. And I'm seeing the city initials like an RST. That is what I'm seeing. RST. It's going to be like an unexpected flooding in that region that is going to be causing like temporal displacement of family. I'm seeing like water pouring um, um, down like a slope into like rivers, car floating slowly in parking lots. I'm seeing that happening. This is going to be like very crucial. I'm also seeing that children are going to be lifted on like rooftops by neighbors. That is what I'm seeing happening for that kind of flood. I don't know how massive the flood will be, but that is the event I'm seeing in that regards. Whilst I'm saying that also, that is why I'm saying these two countries are kind of intercontinental, are connected. I'm seeing fire incident in a market in Egypt. I'm seeing this like a massive um, market fire. I'm seeing like a massive market fire. This will be emotional. This will be economically very painful. This is going to be a huge, crowded, colorful, traditional market. It's going to be known for like they have spices. These people have fabrics. These people have textiles. I'm just saying it while I'm saying it. These people have like small golden shops as well in that place. And I see that they also have like handcrafted or handmade crafted things as well. Like, and then they have like street food, like where we have street vendors and stuff like that. They have street vendors and stuff. And then they have families who have actually worked there for generation who are also living at that place. And I see that happening. I see that this fire starts in a fabric or a textile shop late in the evening. That is what I'm seeing for them at the moment. That is what I'm actually picking. I'm also picking something for a power grid issue in Egypt. Picking for a power grid issue in Egypt. It's like there's a blackout that strikes major urban clusters. The blackout is going to be affecting 3 to 6 million people. So it's going to be a huge blackout. That is what I'm seeing. And I'm seeing that the blackout will be short, but it's going to be very, very massive because of the number of people this blackout is going to be affecting. And I'm seeing that for Egypt at the moment. I'm seeing that the Egyptians men football soccer team will also, you see that with Mexico, it wasn't the men's soccer team, it was the youth or the women's. But in Egypt, it is the Egyptian men's football team or their soccer team will make great advancement in the men's World Cup. That is what I'm saying, which will become like an international sports achievement for their country. That is what I'm saying. This will make Egypt, surprise the whole world. They are going to surprise the whole world with this major, major achievement in terms of this major sporting competition. And if you want to also be going to the World Cup, if you are going to be going to the World Cup, let me know in the comment section if you are going to be going to the World Cup and which as your country qualified. If your country has qualified, name your country in the comment section as well. I'm also seeing like a massive public construction that becomes the shining symbol of Egypt in 2026. I felt myself walking, I felt like I'm walking in a massive new structure, a bridge or like a transportation system. That is what I'm seeing. That becomes like a new symbol of modern Egypt. That is what I'm seeing. And bear with me, I have never even, visited Egypt before. I've heard of them because they are part of Africa, but I've never visited. I wish I could, but I've never visited there. So these things I'm picking is very hard to translate because of a country I do not know. I'm seeing like a new technology hub announcement in Egypt. I see something between 5 to 12 billion dollar investment that would turn Egypt into a new technological beacon for the Middle East. And this will make Egypt position itself like a tech innovation center and attract major investment. That is what I'm actually seeing for Egypt at the moment. I'm also seeing something like a political announcement will shake or will shock the nation of Egypt in 2026. That is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing like a sudden declaration about leadership. It is not a coup, but it is like a structural change in government direction, something in that world. But I see that it's going to be like a major announcement that is going to shock the nation of Egypt. That is what I'm seeing. I see whilst I'm talking about that, I'm also seeing something like a mysterious event at a historical site in Egypt, right? And then I'm seeing like an unusual light. I'm seeing something like an unexplained vibration. I'm also seeing like archaeological, you know, anomalies that is going to be sparking theories, something in that regard. So that's what I'm seeing. It's kind of something strange. I don't know how I'm going to be kind of describing it, but that's something that I'm seeing happening. I'm also seeing that in Egypt, there's going to be a new military agreement. And it looks like Egypt signs a strategic deal with another powerful nation. I think the powerful nation is going to be in the north. I'm seeing that. And I'm seeing that there's going to be a shifting of like regional influence or something like that, or the vision that, Egypt is going to be entering in, is going to have a new era of strategies, and then it is going to be positioning them into something great. But it's not going to be a conflict. This agreement is not going to be like a war or something like that. It's not a war. It's going to be like about protecting or something like that. It's protecting influence, strengthening their country or alliances or something like that. That is what I'm seeing. Or reshaping, the diplomatic size of their country or diplomatic posture of their country. That is what I'm actually seeing for Egypt at that moment. I'm also seeing like a currency pressure moment for Egypt where Egyptians pounds, I think they pound or something like that faces temporal instability. I'm seeing that. And I'm seeing like IMF or international lenders stepping in. That is what I'm seeing for Egypt. Something they will be either going to the IMF or an international lending, something will be stepping in. That is what I'm seeing in Egypt. Unfortunately, a lot of people will also be visiting Egypt. That is what I'm seeing. A lot of people will be visiting Egypt. I think they have a lot of, great places that people will be visiting. I think 2026 is a year people will be traveling a lot. And I see that there's going to be a lot of people traveling into Egypt. I'm also seeing like there's going to be a famous Egyptian public figure that passes away. I'm seeing the letter A and then R. I'm seeing the letter A and then R. I'm seeing that this person is deeply respected, admired across like political lines, across generations, across borders. This is a very famous person. This will cause a national mourning moment. And then like there's going to be tribute globally. I don't know anybody who is really that famous in Egypt because I really don't know anybody in that country, and I really, don't hear any news in that country. I don't even know what language they speak. But I think Egypt is a very nice place to actually visit. I would like to visit there one day. I definitely want to. There's going to be a disappearance in a desert place in Egypt. This is like a desert that swallows secrets, and I'm seeing a missing person case in that desert. Someone known, and then like that this thing is going to be sparkling media stuff or media debate in that regards. I see that. And I'm seeing like a large scale anti-corruption sweep. And I see like authorities quietly launch a task force. And that is what I'm seeing for in Egypt. There's going to be like a surprise arrest investigation, and a high ranking names will be exposed in Egypt. This is what I see for Egypt. A high ranking name will going to be exposed in terms of this kind of a thing, in terms of that. And I see like there's going to be a high level restructuring in security forces. The energy is around maybe 2026, showing like movement behind closed doors within Egypt's security or their security apparatus. That's what I'm saying for Egypt at the moment. Like there's going to be something like that. And it felt like senior roles that are shifting, their senior roles will shift. And it also feels like there's going to be like a generational transition, like something in that regards. But I see something that powerful in that regards in terms of there's going to be a shift or something that is going to be happening in Egypt of multiple things, but I know there's going to be a change or reshuffling or something in leadership that way in terms of their security or their military base or something like that, or intelligence agencies, something to do with security. There's going to be a huge reshuffling that is going to be happening. That is the energy that I'm actually feeling at the moment. I'm also seeing that there's going to be like a controversial legal case, and I'm saying it as if there's going to be like, this is with media rights versus like the national regulation something. One case ruling is going to spark international debate. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that it's connected to media rights or speech, something in that regards. And I'm saying that there's going to be like a journalist. I'm seeing this journalist or a small media outlet that is going to be fined or restricted from actually posting or publishing something in terms of controversy or any controversial stuff. They will be stopped from posting things that are controversial. That is what I'm seeing for that journalist or the media house. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing that there's going to be like a security conflict in Sinai. Is it Sinai or something like that? I see it's like SINA something. Or something like that. I'm seeing that it's going to be like a brief but intense security incident in that region, that Sinai region. It felt like it is like an attempted smuggling incident or a sudden confrontation that is going to be triggered by misunderstanding. That is what I'm saying for that small city in Egypt. That is what I'm saying. I'm saying that in Egypt, I'm seeing there's going to be like a temporal diplomatic tension between Egypt and a Gulf country. That is what I'm saying. This is going to be like a misunderstanding or a policy disagreement. This is all that I'm actually seeing at the moment. There's going to be a medical advancement in Egypt. I see like an Egyptian researchers will announce a breakthrough in treatment or a vaccine technology. This is what I'm seeing for Egypt at the moment. That's what I'm seeing. I'm also seeing that there's going to be like a trend where Egyptians' music, I've never heard their music before, but if somebody knows any popular musician, you can link their name or their music they have or a title of the music. Let me hear that. But this trend is going to be with Egyptians' music becoming a trend on TikTok. I see that happening, which will make music, film, and digital creators from Egypt explode with global visibility. I see that for Egypt or content creators who are in Egypt based on the fact that their music is going to be trending on TikTok. I'm also seeing that there's going to be a flight in Egypt or the flight is going to be making like an emergency landing but the emergency landing will be successful, but it will become like a national news. I see that happening. That is going to have a national, because a lot of these days there's been incidents on flights and stuff like that, but there's going to be an emergency landing, and then it will land safely, but this will spark international news. That is what I'm hearing that is going to be happening. There's going to also be like a global regional event in Egypt, which is going to be in 2026. This will make Egypt become the center of spirituality or interfaith gathering that will receive worldwide coverage. That is why I'm saying that there's going to be a lot of tourism in Egypt. That's what I'm seeing for Egypt at the moment. So this will be my 2026, from now to 2026, and then prediction for Mexico and Egypt. If you like this, kind of predictions that I made, and you want to hear more, kindly subscribe to the channel. Also like the video so that the algorithm will push the video to a lot of people, and also put in the comment section which of these predictions do you think are very serious and are very emergency. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next video.